And good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Graps TV and The Sicko Show. I'm your host, the Matty Man. There is so much that has transpired in these last 48 hours, and not the least of it would be ridiculous WWE drone outcry against a pay-per-view that was paid for by private individuals, viewed by and actually disclaimed to hell and back about the content of the show. As hard as it is to comfortably deal with some of these folks, I've decided to stop doing it. I'm just going to stop dealing with them. You're either a knuckle dragger living in your grandma's basement, banging on the ceiling for dinner, or you're a grown ass fucking adult. It's really that simple. There's not a whole lot of in between on this. AEW said it was going to be unsanctioned. They told you it was going to be unsanctioned. Now, the segment at the end of the Daniel Bryan match, I understand there are a few people that are a little bit concerned about that. Actually, they're a lot concerned. Frankly, I don't care about that one either. It was a well done segment. Not really as extreme as the Mariah May incident, where you could literally hear the heel bouncing off Toni Storm's head. You could hear it. The audio was really good for that turn. But everybody was fine with that. I mean, it was like considered one of the greatest heel turns in the history of professional wrestling. AEW really knocked that one out of the park, et cetera, et cetera. The fact of the matter is they did knock out All Out. AEW stepped up and defined their brand. I'm going to back up and say that one more time. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, owned by Tony Khan, on the TBS network for the foreseeable future, and possibly Fox, which I think is absolutely hilarious. We're going to cover that here in just a few minutes too. But AEW, All Elite Wrestling, says, we're going to put on All Out. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with All Out, I get my shows a little bit confused when I'm trying to compare them, but you have to compare. So I likened All In to AEW's version of WrestleMania, and I tend to be correct on that. That's the way the industry views it, that's the way the fans view it, and that's the way I view it. I looked at All Out as something similar to a Backlash, because usually when you follow the orders of operation for the Baby League, they have certain shows that piggyback off of other shows. So when I walked into All Out, basically because I never ask anybody, because I don't like to know their answers, and that's not because I disrespect anybody's intelligence. I don't want my opinion to be skewed by somebody else's opinion. I'm one of those people that's a free thinker. I like a blank slate when I go to watch something. And all of these pay-per-views, you have to bear in mind, all of these pay-per-views are first-time views for me. Because I'm not going to lie, I didn't really come into the AEW picture until right before Double or Nothing. I watched Double or Nothing on a bet. Literally a bet. But I says to myself, I'm going to watch this with an open mind, and my eyes were opened almost instantly. And almost instantly, I could reflect back to the days of me and my dad watching professional wrestling and all the little gimmicks they used to come up with to make the match that much more exciting. Things we looked at and said, you know what? If they weren't trained professionals, they'd probably be killing each other. That's what Double or Nothing gave to me. And so I liked it. I kept watching the show, and not only did it grow on me, I saw an awful lot in AEW, and I still do, of the old school wrestling. So, with that said, I have a couple of comments here that are probably not going to be very, very PG, family friendly, and they're really not engineered to coddle whatever it is that you've got going on in your head, that you can't just look at something, realize other people are enjoying it, and just move on. Well, I don't like it. Who cares? Did they break any laws? No. Did they submit scripts and plans to the appropriate people? Absolutely. That means the people in charge of allowing them to broadcast knew about exactly what was going to be broadcast. And the stream just crashed. Oh boy. I just saw a few crashes come across there. I'm not really that particularly